Decklid spring in action. That's how it works. Coming back down. It's kind of interesting the way the double stage folds in on itself. But that's how she works. Another noisy neighborhood day, but we got another piece of necessary trim that needs to go on, and it's my Decklid spring. This is a dual stage spring. This is wrong for a 1956, but hey, everything else is wrong on Eleanore anyway. It's a nice chrome one, but unfortunately these aftermarket ones there, chrome is a little less than perfect. If you look inside of there, it's starting to turn a little orange, and I don't know if that's the copper coating before they put the chrome on, or if it's starting to show a little bit of rust. So what I'll probably do is, once I get this on there, is I'll just run through here with a little bit of phosphoric acid, which will put a little coating on. As long as it doesn't get wet, it'll stay like that indefinitely, and it'll turn kind of a chalky white color. It'll disappear inside of a chrome spring. The outside looks great though, unless the chrome starts chipping off of it, but they weren't that expensive. But I'm sure with the price of everything nowadays, these things are gonna go way up. Well, this is a necessary part of trim. I have to put this thing on here because I need to start working in the engine compartment. We still have the diaper down here on the bottom. The reason for that is because, once again, I'm still waiting for that seal to come back from Earl. But when I work in there, I'm gonna need the deck lid to be propped open. Now, I didn't want to have to remove the deck lid. Earl got the thing perfect, just perfect, but I'm gonna have to disturb his work a little bit, and I'm gonna have to unbolt it and remove it. We'll have a little look up underneath the car before we get to that. I believe there's a few things under there that need minor attention, because I know he put it together with some bolts that he had around, because I did not give him enough bolts to put it together, so I'm probably going to need to run for the hardware store, and I'll probably get some nice stainless steel ones, because you're going to see them when we hit up a car show, and I like everything to be, well, nice, matching, shiny. Just makes sense, right? Anyways, let's put this thing on here, let's get started, and I'll show you what it takes to do it. We're going to use the scissor method. That's probably the easiest way to put the deck lid on. I just have to be very, very careful that I'm not going to scuff the paint somehow, some way. So I might put a blanket or something over the deck lid. Sometimes this area up here likes to get caught up under the louvers. Man, noisy neighborhood. Planes, people running saws, kids screaming, ambulance. Wow, it's just one of those days, everything all at once. Let's go ahead and get started. First, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and put on the spring. Okay, you want the chrome spring situated so that way, essentially, it's cradled up like this here. I don't know, did I get a good angle there? There you go. It needs to be cradled up like that. You know, don't put it in upside down. Clearly, you're going to have a problem if you do. And it's got to go in that last set of holes that I was telling you about that are furthest away from you. Now, not a whole lot of people that I know can do this with one hand. They usually wind up putting a set of channel lock pliers or something on it, but I can actually, well, usually. Alright, we're going to go lefty. There it is, one-handed, and it's on. You got to be real careful you don't scratch the paint. That was the reason why I made sure that I had a second hand on it to brace myself. Otherwise, I do have the strength to handle that. Okay, we're set up in a good position right now. Now we got to start removing some deck lid bolts. There's 2 on each side. I'm going to take 2 out of here, and I'm going to take 1 out of here. And it really doesn't matter which one, as long as you get 1 of the 2 out. This is where we get into the things might be scratched area. We're going to put this on the back here and tuck it in, because it is the face that's probably going to get scratched. Okay, we're good and protected now. So now when I remove them bolts up underneath, the deck lid won't poop hit the body and scratch the living dog shit out of it. My shoulder's killing me because I messed it up last week working on B's Carmen Kia. So my left hand is almost out of commission for stuff like this. Alright, glad that diaper's still there. Alright. Now comes the tricky part. Alright, real quickly, just so you can get a good idea as to what we're looking at here. There's a little Pacman mouth that's up here. This spring needs to go up into that mouth, and it needs to go under this way. Of course, it's not possible with the deck lid as it is. That's where it comes into play that we pull the deck lid back. Now this is going to be a tricky one to record. So you can see I got my blanket up under there in case I accidentally pinch it. but this deck lid's got to swivel over this way. The spring now has to go into position. In the mouth like that. And then on that last bolt that we left in, we have to swing the deck lid back into position. And if you got it right, it'll keep itself open just like that. And that's where it is. Now we're ready to start putting our bolts back in. Well, before I go any further, that spring fits like crap. Apparently it's not symmetrical. If you look at it, it's kind of all friggin' twisted and just looks like shit. So I'm gonna take that spring back out. I'm gonna straighten it out, put some bends into it, and then put it back into position. But it should work just fine for what I'm trying to do here. Now that I'm getting a good look at it here, it's very obviously not symmetrical. This spring is good, but the second stage to it here, this is just garbage. Totally wrong. I'm gonna have to bend that quite a bit to get it straight. You see, it's... I guess I'll bring this out a little bit. Yeah, that's just terrible. Unbelievable. That's Aftermarket for you. Thanks, MP. Well, that's a lot straighter than it was. That's good enough for me. It will be behind the doghouse shroud anyway, so you're probably not really gonna see it a whole lot, but that was just not good enough. All right, let's go ahead and start putting our bolts back in. Got some bolts here. These are supposed to have nice washers on them. As I said, we will be replacing these with something that's much nicer to look at. I believe they're supposed to be painted body color anyway, but I'd rather have something shiny. That's just me. I don't like painted hardware. Unless it's like black painted hardware. That makes sense for a lot of the body bolts and things. But these are going to be seen. They're going to be obvious. For whatever reason, this thing doesn't want to thread. There it goes. Alright, one more on this side. Okay, now I have to tighten the bolts down approximately to where it looks like Earl's marks were. Yeah, right about there. That one's not tight yet. Well, actually, that might be a shitty bolt. We'll come back to that, so let's go ahead and try this thing. It should be okay with 3 bolts. Good. And it looks like the marks I put it on is the right spots. I just have to fix that one bolt. I gotta investigate to figure out why it even came out. Otherwise, it looks like we're on there. Excellent. Well, there it is. That's a step in the right direction. Hey, look. Isn't that nice? And here's the dual stage I was talking about. It'll sit right at about the halfway mark. Oh, maybe it won't. Right in here is like a neutral point, and it wants to stay. This deck lid's got a lot of filler and stuff on it. It might be too heavy for the spring. It kind of wants to stay, but kind of doesn't. Could also be the position the body's in. I don't know. But anyway, we got a good chrome spring on there. It's straight enough for me. Appears to be working. Got to figure out that bolt, but one step in the right direction. Now I have a lid that opens. Once I get the seal on there, then I can figure out where the latch is supposed to go, because that's going to be a little bit of a peculiar something. What is that? I have no idea what that block is for. First I thought it was just a magnet. No, I don't think so. Anyway, we'll come back to that. But underneath this diaper here is where the bolt hole flange is supposed to be. And this rear apron, H-apron if you will, because yes, it does have a letter H on it. It goes all the way across, like a 56 should. It's actually a hybrid apron. This is something I made, so it's completely wrong. So whatever it's going to take to latch this deck lid shut is going to be completely up to me to fabricate it, and I want it to look as factory as possible, so that's the goal. So I'll fight away with this, and I'll see if I can get that going. But nonetheless, we are at a great stopping point for this one. I'm glad I investigated this a little more before I tried to crank it down, because it turned out that's just a really soft bolt, and the threads on it are just kind of monkeyed up. So no amount of tightening would ever work, but I was able to just take it out by hand, no big deal. Ran a new 10mm bolt in, actually 6mm bolt with a 10mm head, and everything fits fine. In fact, even the deck lid wants to stay up a little better than it was before. That bolt made a big difference in how it was fitting on there, but need some minor adjustments up in the deck lid because it got a little cattywampus afterwards, but everything otherwise looks like it's going to be okay. It's good and solid. Nothing hits. It actually opens a little wider than it used to, probably because this bolt is actually too long for what's supposed to be in there. So up inside the hinge back here, it was getting caught. Best way to describe it is put the bolt in my hand like this. This is the hinge point. You see that bolt's running through. Well, it's too long, so it wouldn't allow the hinge to close all the way. So it was allowing the deck lid not to open as much. And it's nicer for me, a big guy as I am, for the deck lid to open up as much as possible. Hell, in fact, it's even better if the deck lid weren't even there at all. But this works nicely. I'm very, very happy with this. Very happy. Just gonna make a little bit of an adjustment, bring that deck lid over that way, just a hair, because it did move, and me having adjusted and played with things over here, but actually it's perfect right now. Perfect right now. I may not even have to loosen the bolts. This might be a matter of just bending one of the hinges a little bit. Yeah, I got a dinky with it, but that actually made a little bit of a difference. Well, I'm happy. I think we're gonna have a look up underneath from an angle that you guys probably have never seen before. Especially if you've ever owned a Volkswagen, usually you can't see this direction because there's typically an engine in here. Gotta love my vintage snap-off creeper. Whoa. And that's something you don't see every day. Oh no. Yeah. And this is where you get to see Earl's true attention to detail. All the paintwork that he did up in here, the stuff that nobody will ever see. There I can see I didn't give Earl enough bolts to put this together, so I'll fix that. That will probably affect the deck lid alignment by quite a bit, not having that third bolt in that side. That's just a weep hole in case moisture gets in there. But I will change all these bolts out, all three of them over here, all three of them on this side. We'll get some nice 10mm headed stainless steel with stainless steel washers, and I will install that all on here, and it will just look nice. Yeah, as I said, the attention to detail under here is just incredible. Everything's been painted up underneath. There's no rust up under here at all. This was a hybrid apron, as I had said. The H pattern was welded in by me. You can see my weld marks all through here. You can see the weld marks from the guy I got the apron from. This is a early apron, but he filled in the exhaust cutouts for the little pea shooters. I won't be using pea shooters on here, so it was perfect for what I wanted. I didn't care that it was modified, and that's the reason why it sat on the stack and nobody was buying it. But I had to have that H pattern. That's why I welded that in there, so that way it looks like a 56 apron, even though it's not. The cutaway is a little different, though. The bottom in here, on a 56, it would typically slope down deeper than it does on this early model apron, so technically a 56 is earlier than the earlier model. Now there's Earl's attention to detail up under here, though. This is the kind of stuff I was talking about. Look at this. Look at all this beautiful paintwork. Gorgeous paintwork. There's my deck lid spring, which, as you can see, is straight now. I had to bend it. It was all freaking goofed up. But it's good. Just beautiful paintwork up under here. Everything just looks gorgeous. Everything up under here, I told him to paint black. It's all painted black. You know, not a spot was missed. Nowhere. Nowhere at all. Oh, is that paintwork? Oh, that's some of the green coming through. Once again, it's covered. Paint is paint. This is an area nobody will ever look and will never see. But this is where the little rubber buttons go in for the deck lid, even though the deck lid doesn't rest on that anymore due to the modifications I did to the engine compartment back here. Everything's going to fit differently. Everything's going to fit a little weird. But this is just beautiful. Yeah, I'm very, very happy under here. Well, how about showing you guys what it looks like to open up a deck lid from the inside. Now you can see how the spring works. Check out the spring in motion. Look at this. That's how it works. Something you never would have been able to see before. Yeah, I don't think I can reach it to shut it down again. Ow. Jammed my thumb. Alright. Fantastic. Fantastic. I am so happy with this car coming back. I'm going to show you the spring from a different angle. Yeah. Let's get it under here this way. Deck lid spring in action. That's how it works. Coming back down. It's kind of interesting the way the double stage folds in on itself. But that's how she works. That's just too beautiful not to make the thumbnail. Wow. Incredible. Well, this is one of those little things that I was putting off for a little while, and I'm so glad that it's taken care of at this point. Now this deck lid opens and closes naturally like it's supposed to. I can get to replacing some of those bolts with some nice stainless steel parts, so that way everything matches and looks pretty and stays looking pretty for the life of time. Long after I'm gone, it'll still be shiny. I did take the diaper off of here temporarily just so you guys can see the nice H apron. This is something that I manufactured for this car. It is all wrong. It is made from several different cars. Everything about it is just entirely wrong. But because it has the H on it, it does look like it comes from a 1956 Beetle, and that was the goal. Anyway, we do have a working deck lid. That's something I'm really glad for. It doesn't open and stay opened halfway like I thought it might. It's probably because it's a longer deck lid than some of the ones from 69 and up. So it's got more weight stretching way out from the fulcrum. I suppose a stronger spring or something would probably fix it, but you know what? It doesn't need to be sitting half open. I need it as wide as possible because when I'm under here, being a big guy as I am, this thing's in the way. Sometimes certain engine procedures, you're better off running with the deck lid off anyway. But I'm glad to say that it's working. I'm going to put the little diaper back on the back here so we don't have a whole lot of paint-on-paint contact. That's a big no-no. And when we get that rubber seal, which as I said may even be in my mailbox today, I'll go run and get it. We'll get this thing sealed up. And finally, once and for all, that diaper that's hanging on the back here can go away. Alright, well that's it for today, so please like, comment, subscribe, don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Duck Shit down there for all my different social media links. And we'll be back, hopefully soon, with a new video. By next Wednesday or sooner. I'll probably have a couple shorts in between. I got some stuff that people are asking that'll be really, really good for a short video, so I think we'll demonstrate some of that coming up. So, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.